Ece Sükan ile 3S'ten herkese merhaba. Şu anda cennet gibi bir yerden size merhaba diyoruz bu bölümde. Burası Aman Rüya, Bodrum'da Aman Otel grubunun çok özel, çok değerli bir oteli. Ve niye buradayız tabii ki de? Bu muhteşem mekanda kalıyoruz. Grup bir tenis koleksiyonu çıkartıyor ve de bunun lansmanı için buradayız. Tüm dünyadan çok önemli isimlerin katıldığı, çok ufak, çok özel bir lansman davetindeyiz bütün hafta sonu. Ama bunun en heyecanlı kısmını biraz sonra söyleyeceğim ama önce bu muhteşem villayı göstermek istiyorum size biraz. Müthiş bir manzara, yeşillik ve deniz. Bodrum'un çok güzel, hakikaten korunmuş yerlerinden birinde burası. Mimari olağanüstü zaten. Havuz çok güzel. Buradan şöyle göstermek istiyorum. Muhteşem. Gördüğünüz gibi yani şu mimari harika. Buradan da bir sürü dinlence köşeleri var. Hakikaten çok güzel bir mimari. Quite luxury dediğimiz tam anlamıyla. Ve burada da keyif yapabileceğiniz bir woohoo. Şu anda geldik, çok heyecanlı koleksiyon lansmanına. Şimdi bu koleksiyon lansmanı kimin derseniz çok heyecanlıyım ben çünkü şampiyonların şampiyonu Novak Djokovic'in çok heyecanlıyım.
Welcome everybody. Thank you guys for joining us here today, Novak and Christina. I'm excited to dive into this discussion around wellness. So Novak, let's start with you. I know you've often described tennis as a spiritual experience. In your words, what is wellness and how do you personally define it?
When I was breaking through to the professional men's tennis circuit more than 20 years ago, there was not much talk about that. And I remember that if you would reach age of 30, then you would start counting your days. You wouldn't be able to, keep on playing for a very long time at a high level. When you reach 30, it's like almost like you have a time clock. And so people would put more limitations, I think, when it comes to professional sport. Professional tennis is an individual sport, which is quite different from team sports because you're solely dependent on yourself. You have a team of people around you. Of course, they take care of every aspect of your body, mind, spiritual. But essentially, you have to do the work yourself. Fundamentals of tennis, but not only that. For the tennis fans or people that follow tennis, they know probably Monica Seles, who was born in Serbia, and when she was 21, 22, she moved to America and then played under American flag, and she's one of the legends of our sport. Yeah. So the lady that I was referring to, she was her coach. And so I knew everything about Monica. Monica goes to bed at this hour, Monica eats this, Monica drinks that, Monica watches this, reads this. So she was my first idol, and I was 8-9 years old. And at that time, my parents worked closely with my tennis mother and allowed her to, spend more time with me than just on the tennis court. And at that point, I didn't understand why that was valuable, but it was extremely valuable when it comes to wellness and well-being and a holistic approach to life, because she would take me home as a 9-year-old to her house, and then we would do visualization. And at that point, she didn't use that term, and I didn't know what it is. She would just tell me, close your eyes, envision how you want to play tennis, what is the best version of yourself on the tennis court, and project that not just for tomorrow, but project that into the future. What is the dream? My dream tournament was always to win Wimbledon and be number one. Okay, so then envision this Wimbledon trophy, put it in your mind as a picture, and make sure that you don't only envision it in your mind, but every cell in your body vibrates as if it already happened. So she told me essentially what wellness, well-being, and holistic approach really is. We used to read poetry, listen to classical music, watch the video tapes of the legends of the game, the best players in the world, both on men and women's side, and then she would ask me what I saw, what I learned, etc. So it was a very detailed, professional kind of approach that she was taking with a 9-year-old kid. You would think it's too early. That she was taking with a 9-year-old kid. You would think it's too early. Tennis player, parent, business, philanthropy at home, whatever, all the things that you have on your mind, and then you forget to have time for yourself. So I try to integrate certain things in my daily routine that are going to help me to center myself. Sometimes it varies on the time that I spend meditating or doing conscious breathing exercises or hot and cold type of sessions like ice baths and stuff. I have also some biotech devices that I use, some for vagus nerve, central nervous system stimulation that helps me relax and kind of give me that momentous help that I need, support, because sometimes, even if you train yourself, I could do a deep breath and I feel like I'm already centered. And so I feel that tennis, with all its contrast, and as Christina was mentioning, between the surfaces, we're a very outdoor sport. So a lot of the fashion when it comes to on-court fashion, has to do with normally a functional wear. That you want to blend a functional wear with something that looks nice, but it's also materials that will, absorb the sweat and allow you to feel light on the court. Because we do tend to sweat a lot as we are always on the sun. We like to say we are chasing the sun. So we do have some indoor tournaments, etc. But it's really mostly about functionality. And I'm like even if I don't know if that's a term, but naturalist that loves natural materials as well. I like to wear the cotton, the linen, and my on-court gear with my sponsor is made of the synthetic materials because it's much more functional and manages sweat much better. So I'm not enjoying that part, but I like to think that it looks good. I mean, at least I'm part of the process of the design, and I think it's important for particularly the top players, both men and women in the tennis of the day, because of the fact that I've done something that I really deeply regret. So I feel like that was one of the revelations that really allowed me, I feel like, to just feel relieved, because continuing to play tennis for me is not only the matter of results and achievements in history, it's also a matter of self-growth that I experience on the court. It's one of the things that is very prominent. And then also, how do I inspire younger generations of athletes or people to be better versions of themselves as not just athletes but as people, and so that's something that is constantly in my mind. All of the things that I'm doing, not just the way I'm playing tennis, but what I do off the court, and how does that reflect on the younger people. So I'd love, of course, as a tennis player, that I see every single young person in the world taking a tennis racket and playing. Obviously that's not going to happen, but if I can contribute, we underestimate the importance of movement today. We live in the very conforming society where it's, let's sit, let's have a drink, let's have a meeting sitting down, let's watch a sport sitting down, let's watch TV sitting down. We're always sitting down, and I think we don't have enough movement, walking, running, biking, whatever. Just moving is.
Evet, muhteşem bir lansmandayız şu anda. Bahsettiğim gibi tenis koleksiyonunun lansmanındayız ve bunun tabii ki de en heyecan verici özelliklerinden biri Novak Djokovic'le beraberiz. Çünkü Djokovic zaten atlet olarak da şampiyon bir tenisçi olarak yıllardır wellness konusunda, mindfulness konusunda, beslenme ve hani longevity konularında gerçekten çok vizyoner ve önder bir profil çiziyor. Tabii ki de her sporcu atlet bu konularla ilgileniyor ama Djokovic'inki çok total bir bakış açısı. Ve dün akşam da onunla sohbet etme fırsatı buldum. Gerçekten muazzam bir insan ve gerçekten Türkiye'den tenisi çıkması için bizim kadar dertleniyor. Kendisi de Sırp olduğu için, bizi komşu adlettiği için bu bölgedeki aslında sporcuların bireysel çabalarıyla bazı şeylerin olduğunu, kendisinin de öyle olduğunu, kendisi bu kadar şampiyon olmasına rağmen bir sistem gelişmediğinden bahsetti. Ama onun haricinde gerçekten Türkiye'den de böyle bir tenisçinin kendi çabalarıyla da olsa bir şekilde o şeyi kırmasını o da bizim kadar çok istiyor. Ve gerçekten çok samimi bir insan. Ben zaten hayrandım. Daha da çok hayran oldum kendisine. Evet, neden peki Djokovic burada bu lansmanı yapıyor? Tabii ki de tenis koleksiyonu ama Djokovic ayrıca da bu otel grubunun Global Wellness Advisor'ı, yani Global Wellness Advisor'ı, Global Wellness danışmanı. O yüzden de bu tenis koleksiyonu tabii ki de onunla alakalı ve tüm bakış açısı aslında bu otel grubunun bakış açısı da dediğimiz gibi quite luxury, slow living, doğayla iç içe, daha raw, daha natürel bir aslında hizmet ve servis ve yaşam tarzını savunuyorlar. Bu anlamda da bu tenis koleksiyonu gerçekten çok güzel ve çok heyecanlı. Şimdi de işte bir panel olacak ve Djokovic bu konularla ilgili konuşacak. Sonra da biz de kendisiyle konuşacağız. Çok mutluyum. Gerçekten hayran olduğum bir sporcu ve hayran olduğunuz bir insanın, bir sporcunun daha da tahmin ettiğinizden daha da tatlı ve samimi çıkması gerçekten bir bonus oluyor hayatta. O yüzden güzel bir gün bizi bekliyor. Hadi bakalım gezelim biraz, devam edelim. Finally, I'm so happy to be able to talk to you because obviously I'm a fan, like everyone, because of course you're such a great athlete and you're the one who holds the record for the most men's Grand Slam titles, 24, I guess, and many more titles. But not only because of these, obviously, because you are a very wholesome person. And before I talk to you, even before, and I know your interviews and everything, you radiate that mind, body, and soul coherence very well. And growing up in Belgrade, and you know, as a kid, probably, what was the grounding element you think?
Well, thank you for speaking to me and having the patience to wait and save the best for the last, they say, right? Yeah, it was great also to play tennis with you and others today, and just enjoy an amazing discussion at the wellness panel, talking about longevity, wellness, well-being, talking about also the holistic approach, because essentially that's, I would say, the approach that I have in life is very holistic. It's very multidisciplinary, multi-layered. You know, people, when they talk to me and they ask me what's the secret of success, like what's the one thing that you can say that makes you perform your best or recover the best, or it's hard to pick one, you know, because if it's that easy, then everybody would be able to accomplish everything. It's just, I would say, if I have to boil it down to the one term or one explanation, it would be self-care and self-love. Because self-care and wellness is a form of self-love, is a form of self-obligation as well. Because I feel like we owe it to ourselves primarily to feel good, to be healthy, to be living in the most optimal state every day possible. Of course, it's not possible every day because also the modern fast-paced lifestyle in modern civilizations, we're always in a rush, we're always on the run, we're spending a lot of energy. And it's all right to be flawed human being. It's all right to make mistakes and everything. But I think essentially you need to have the guiding star. Like, what's that North Star? What's the purpose in life? And everyone has different ambitions, different goals, objectives. But I think what we all should have is taking care of our main how can I say, avatar, which is our body.
Yeah, that's the first responsibility.
That's the first, I mean, and I wish, to be honest, that's for another discussion probably. I wish that education system globally would talk about this and teach neuroscience. They would teach, wellness and well-being and mindfulness from a very young age in the school.
Now
because
it's become more popular, at least, but...
It has been, but it's still not to that extent. But, that's how things start. And hopefully in few decades, we can see a big changes on a global level. But nevertheless, my upbringing in Serbia was challenging. A lot of adversity, wars, sanctions, embargo, poverty, and a lot of different things that were experienced by my family, by all the people. But I'm not crying about it and saying that I'm a victim. I actually think that this helped me, strengthen me, and form me into the person that I am today, and how I handle, maybe stress and pressure moments throughout my career mostly was also due to the ability to kind of deal with this survival mode back in the early days. But I also was fortunate to be surrounded with some key people early in my life that taught me about holistic approach, that taught me about importance of sleep, nutrition, hydration, visualization, nature, outdoors. etc.
Actually, these are very universal things and very ancient wisdom, actually. But now the definitions are changing.
Right.
Everybody was talking about this. You mentioned Tesla, there's Rumi, and ancient civilizations. So it all comes to the frequency. It all comes to the frequency, the energy, and the holistic approach, mind, body, and spirit. They are together. The creation.
Yes.
And so before, probably in your childhood, you were taught these without the definitions. And now everybody's talking about these things, like manifesting, visualization, the frequency, the energy.
We have the terminology now.
Yeah, we have the terminology
kind of explains what we're...
Yeah,
it is true. As I said, I personally was fortunate to be influenced by people that particularly one person that I like to call my tennis mother. And she, very early on in my life, in my career, when I was 9-10 years old, would take me to her house and we would do visualization practices. We would look at the videotapes. And at the time, it was not even called that way. She just told me, close your eyes and envision your best version of yourself, doing this, doing that, playing tennis, being good in school, being good to your parents, whatever. And that's amazing. And I'm so thankful that I had this. And that's why I'm saying I wish that all of the children early on have the exposure or awareness of the importance of this, because then that helps for the rest of your life. And I think if you have an open mind, an open heart, and if you're curious and you want to learn, things come. Yeah. Because what you mentioned, energy, frequency, vibration, I believe that in the deepest form of who we are, that's who we are. And that's, connecting us to the divine force. And so we are all connected on this planet with that divine universal field. And so when we, when we are living the life on a daily basis that we envision for ourselves, and we're not just with thoughts, but with actions and deeds, then we start attracting these things in our life. And I have experienced it firsthand. I'm not saying something that I just read in the books. All my life has been really like that. And I'm very, very thankful. I did experience a lot of negative things in my life, if you want to say. But those, more than negative, they're like lessons. They're like hurdles on the way that are there for a reason. And I wasn't always thinking this way and being kind of wise about it maybe, and having like a very positive look on it.
Then you learn to choose the perspective to look at it.
Yeah, I guess that evolves over time.
Yeah.
And but being, as I said, focused on something, and you're gonna get something out of that. What you focus on, it's always the same. Whether it's positive, negative, whatever it is, it's always you get what you invest.
And what I admire actually, with you a lot is that you are, your definition of success probably evolved, changed because you have all the success now, but also you want to give back, you are evolving and expanding, and you are just, you want to give back to the kids, to the community, to your country. And we were talking about the, like your country, my country, how it's still like an individual effort to break through in these kinds of sports, especially in tennis. And you have your goals and dreams and ideas about how to, change this or, evolve, make it better. So, what do you think about this? What's your dream? What do you want to do? Because you're such that person, you want to...
I have a lot of dreams, and I think that's beautiful, that's nice, and I really believe that everyone should be daring to dream and dreaming big, But if there is something that you deeply feel that you don't believe in it fully, then it's going to be hard for you to manifest that and to achieve it. But if you do really believe it with every cell in your body, then I think there is a better chance. And I feel like sky is the limit, or basically there is no limit if you kind of put yourself in that position and give frequency to the brain. It's a kind of an alignment. You're right. Well, I would like my legacy to be more on a personal side than professional. I think professionally, I've been blessed to achieve amazing things in my sport, and tennis will, always be the central point. I mean, the platform that gave me everything else that I have, the talk with you here and seeing these amazing people. Because of tennis. So I'm very aware of that and conscious of that. But I do want to expand my influence. I do want to expand my outreach, my impact, sports, education, with the philanthropy last 15 plus years with my foundation. We affected almost 60,000 children in my country. And
wow, fantastic.
So there's a lot of great things and projects that we've done that I'm very proud of. I do want a lot of things that it's probably not the time right now to share with you. There's so many, but we talked a little bit about the expansion of tennis in the Balkans and maybe in Turkey as well. And I would like, to see, we talked about your country and how important it is in terms of history, in terms of culture, on both continents, both Asia and Europe, and just incredible nation. And I'm sad as a tennis player to see that there is no real tennis success and a system in Turkey. So, once I guess stop playing professionally actively, when I maybe have a little bit more time, I'll dedicate myself to some of the projects that will hopefully promote tennis in these areas. And because I feel like, all of us here in this Balkan region, in this part of the world, in Europe, very talented people in different sports, and tennis originally has always been a sport of the Westerners,
True.
And it started there, and it's a sport of the elites, and most of the big tournaments are played at West. Why not move it to this part of the world?
Exactly.
It's a beautiful sport. It's a global sport. It's, by some scientific studies recently, the healthiest sport. They're saying that whoever plays racket sports can live whatever,
exactly.
9-10 years. You say, okay. So we have that backing to say and evidence. So there's a lot of interesting fields through sports, through wellness. Wellness space is also something that I'm very passionate about, very enthusiastic about. I have different startups and also investments in different companies that are in that space, from Regenesis Pod, that is one recovery capsule that I developed with all the wellness and biotech in the last 5 years that I've been using, and it's coming out later this year.
Oh, fantastic.
And then we have the supplement brand. We have a hydration drinks that I think you tried.
Yeah, I tried it today.
We're going to have different supplements and traveling kits and home kits and stuff like this for people to consume. And then another company that in a vertical farming space, basically. So this is 1.1 because there was, at that time when it was formed, there was 1.1 billion people on the planet that are starving.
Wow.
So the idea behind this technology and behind this actually revolutionary technology, I can say, even though there are some other vertical farming technologies and companies out there in the market, is that everything is automated. So and the amount of the produce that you can produce is incredible. The yield is amazing, and so which means that we can actually. I'm excited because I feel like we can feed many more people because you're in more controlled environments and so forth. I'm a lover of the nature. I like so for me, in a sense, like I want us to go back to the soil, to go back to the Mother Earth, to go back to everything. But at the same time, everything is so polluted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we really need to detoxify ourselves, but also allow nature to cleanse, so we can go back. And in a sense, that's where OPO kind of, offers a solution in the meantime, and it's fun. I'm excited. There's a lot of things that I'm occupied with. Of course, I'm a father of the young 2 children, so which consumes a lot of time, and it's the most rewarding thing in my life. And so I try to be in a different place at the same time, but sometimes it's not possible.
Fantastic. Are you gonna go to Roland Garros?
Yes.
After this?
Yes.
So how do you do your own training, schedule everything is normal, or
look, I still have a team of people around me. We still keep up with the program and schedule of training or preparation, and I'm playing a tournament in Geneva
before
in a few days time, and then I'm going to Paris. So I'm still trying to excel in tennis and fight for the biggest trophies, which motivates me, and still see how the longevity part is also very appealing to me. How long can I go with the body at the highest level? And
I think we are on the verge of that. Secret is I think solved a bit, this longevity biohacking thing. Now we can be, because if the spirit is eternal, and if they're together, mind, body, and spirit, why the body? Because we can actually stay like this and then live longer, not and then coming to the 120 years old and then without the teeth or whatever. Now I think everybody's working on this, and then
it's like a conversation of the health span versus lifespan.
Exactly.
So you want to live longer, healthy, rather than just live longer being sick. And living longer is one of the greatest, passions of the people. Everybody would like to. Not everybody, but a lot of people would love to live longer. But I would say, live longer with more vitality and quality of ability to move and do beautiful things that life offers.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great talking to you. Thank you.
So nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.